I just ran Kimi K through the exact same 10 tests I put every AI model through, and it scored a 92.6 on quality, one of the highest numbers I have ever recorded. But that number carries more weight than usual this time because Kimi K3 is the very first model I'm scoring on a brand new system. I rebuilt my entire testing rubric from the ground up. The old one had been drifting for weeks. The scores were creeping in ways I no longer trusted. So I tore it down and built a far more detailed, far stricter ladder, and Kimi K3 is the first model to run through it. So I'm going to show you where this model is genuinely great, the one place it made a mistake that could get you in real trouble, and why a model that used to be the cheap option just priced itself like a frontier lab. This is your first video of mine. Here is what I do. I test new AI models with the exact same prompt every single time, but only on the skills that actually matter for real work. Sales pages, emails, LinkedIn articles, code, long documents. I do not care whether a model scores in the top percentile for some benchmark I will never use. I care whether it can do the job I actually do. Here's the plan. I walk you through where Kimi K3 is genuinely excellent, the one place where it slipped in a way you have to watch out for, and the pricing move that tells you the whole market just shifted. One quick thing first. If this testing is useful to you, tap the like button. It's free and it tells me to keep making videos like this one. Let me explain how I actually test, because this time the how is the whole story. Every model gets the same 10 prompts, the same sales page brief, the same email, the same LinkedIn article, the same coding task, the same document job. 10 categories that map to real work, and I run each prompt 3 times. So that is 30 runs per model, which keeps one lucky answer from skewing the result. Then I score it 2 ways. First, an automated rubric grades the output. Then I do the part the rubric cannot do. I sit down and read every single piece myself and tell you whether I would actually ship it. Here's what's new. That rubric had drifted. When I went back and looked at my ChatGPT 5.6 scores, the numbers were off. The ladder had gone soft, so I rebuilt it from scratch, made it far more detailed and far more strict. And Kimi K3 is the first model to run the new version. That is also why I'm not going to tell you where it lands against the rest of the board yet. I have to rescore every past model on this new system before any ranking is honest. So this is about one model, judged entirely on its own. Let me start where Kimi K3 genuinely stunned me, the sales page. This is the best sales page I have ever watched a model build, full stop. The moment it loaded, I stopped taking notes on what was wrong and started taking notes on what was holding it back from absolute perfection. And that has almost never happened to me. Look at the honest strategy path to freedom section. I have never seen it look so good. Real effects, careful color, 2 columns that meet entirely where they should. Large center text, different shades doing actual work. Then it reaches the section that breaks every other model, 3 blocks across the page, each one holding a different kind of content. One has a highlighted number, one has 4 bullet points, one has a single paragraph. There's almost no way to make uneven content look even, and this is the best version of it I've ever seen. The automation is simple section, trigger, action, filler, output. Trigger, action, filter, output is 4 blocks with orange arrows between them, and it is genuinely beautiful. My automated rubric gave the page a 94, and for once, I completely agree with it. If I am nitpicking, and nitpicking is all I have got left, the buy button has too many effects, a glow and a hover animation that's almost a little spaceship. And I would pull that back. The testimonials run 3 columns with 7 names, and 7 never divides evenly into 3. So I would ask for 6 or 9 testimonials. Those are tiny things. I would run this page almost exactly as it is. The social LinkedIn writing is where it gets interesting, because this is where Kimi K3 is brilliant and slightly dangerous at the same time. There is one line in the LinkedIn post that is a 10 out of 10. Half the internet is celebrating. The other half is Googling what an MCP server is. That is a perfect line. But then the writing keeps reaching for that same technical register. It says you call your external tools the way a senior engineer does. It talks about querying a customer database and pulling a filing. And that word filing is the tell. For 99% of my audience, the word is file, not filing. The writing is genuinely great, but it is writing right on the edge of too technical for the people I'm actually writing to. It does give you a metaphor, software as a taxi you pay for in middleware and Zapier spaghetti. And I love that. It's doing its best to translate. This is the kind of writing that makes me want to go use Kimi K3 for my own coding the second this video ends. Just know that if your audience is not engineers, you have to pull the vocabulary down a notch yourself. Now, the one that made me sit up, the email. The writing is strong, but it opens by telling me that a friend of mine had just pulled all of this off as if it had actually happened. It did not happen. The model invented it. And this is the drift I watch for hardest on every single model. As you let a model think longer and get more creative, you also hand it more room to invent a convincing story that is simply not true. I gauge against this in my own tools. I keep more than 100 real verified stories from my own life in a database, and the model has to pull one from that bank instead of inventing one of its own. This prompt did not have that gate, and you could see exactly what happens without it. If you take one practical thing from this whole video, take that. The better these models get at storytelling, the more you need a guardrail that keeps the stories true. And this is where you come in, because the common threads in the comments shape what I put on this benchmark. So if there's a model you want run through this exact new rubric, name it below. This is a small channel and I read every single comment. Across the rest of the test, Kimi K3, it just delivers. The backend code is about as close to perfect as it gets, and it is a deeply technical task. It did not make a single mistake I could find, even under the stricter scoring. The YouTube summary is genuinely useful. It broke a very technical video down cleanly and put the summary right at the top where I want it. The editing test fixed a whole pile of small errors. The brainstorming came back better structured than almost anything I've seen. Clean, organized, easy to actually use. The reasoning gave a real explanation for every step, with actual math worked into the plan. And the long context test is a good window into how this model thinks. You hand it a huge pile of material and ask one specific question, and it comes back with 94.7%. And then it gives you the full sentence version too. The enterprise share hit a Q3 customer tenure of 94.7%. So it hands you both the one-word answer and the sentence, which is more than most models bother to do. The one thing it still does not do is show its work, and a perfect score would walk me through how it got there, but the answer itself is right. So here is where I land on Kimi K3. This is a genuinely excellent model, and I'm putting it into my own workflow. I'm using more and more different models for different jobs now, and this one has clearly earned a seat at that table. Which brings me back to the price. Kimi K3 got a lot more expensive than its predecessors. It now runs $3 per million input tokens and 15 per million output. That's more than Claude Sonnet 5 at 2 and 10, and it lands right between Sonnet 5 and Opus 4.8's pricing. Compare that to DeepSeek version 4 Pro at 44 cents in and 87 cents out. Kimi K3's output price is about 17 times what DeepSeek is charging for their premium model. And you really feel the jump. For a long time, these Chinese models were the budget option. Kimi K3 is not playing that game anymore. When a lab raises its own price on purpose, it's telling you it believes it belongs at the top. And after running it through 10 tests 3 times a piece, I think they have earned the right to make that claim. One last thing worth knowing, Kimi K3 has a pattern behind it. The moment they release Kimi K3.1, the price on Kimi K3 usually drops hard, the way it has before. So if this one is a little rich for you, it may not stay that way for long. I hope you found this video useful, interesting, or at least entertaining. Hit subscribe to see more of my videos in your feed, and the bell will notify you every time I post a new video. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for making it all the way to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching one of my videos. Hit the like button, and then I've got a couple of sweet videos that I think you're gonna like. I've got one here and another one over here. You're gonna love them.